my name's Morgan Flynn. I'm the Director of Client Services here at Seekhaven. I have been a part of the Seekhaven team for 2 years now. I actually started off in the shelter and then transitioned over to an advocate and then now in the director position. So I oversee all of our client service staff. I'm also the sexual assault response team coordinator and the LAP coordinator for Grand County. So Seekhaven is definitely unique in a lot of ways because we serve San Juan County, Emery County, and Grand County. So that's over a 100-mile radius. And we're the only victim service provider for domestic violence, sexual assault, and sex trafficking in that 100-mile radius. We're also a very rural area, which is unique because we're rural. We face a lot of the same challenges that rural areas face, like lack of transportation, lack of housing. But at the same time, because it is like a tourist destination, sometimes we're dealing with lots of transient people. Town gets really busy. It drives the prices up of everything. There's a really high cost of living. We also see a lot of like exploitation because of that, the nature of like the tourism industry and folks not having housing. So a lot of their housing is tied to their employment, which I think can put people in a really vulnerable situation. So we do have a lack of public transportation here, and so Moab is kind of like a big city in a small area. So it's really busy, but it is still a small town there, and there's not, the closest other town is like 45 minutes in one direction, an hour and a half in another. So, and there's no public transportation in between those areas. And for a long time, we haven't had public transportation in town either. We recently did get a free transit bus, but that service is definitely limited. It only goes to certain parts of the city, and there are lots of people that live in more remote areas in the county, like outside of city limits. So our advocates do provide mobile advocacy, and so they can travel anywhere in Emery County, Grand County, and San Juan County. So, for example, we had someone who was fleeing a domestic violence situation from New Mexico, and we were able to coordinate with the New Mexico State Police, and the state police actually drove the person like 2 hours to the Utah border, and then our advocate drove down into San Juan County and met up with them, and then was able to provide that person transportation back here to get to our safe emergency shelter. So we work really closely with a lot of other like small agencies to educate and raise awareness about domestic violence and sexual assault. We have great partnerships with the Multicultural Center here and other small nonprofits, and we're always discussing the issues of domestic violence and sexual assault. How do we address them? What signs to look for? We have some prevention programming that has been focusing on the outdoor recreation and tourism industry, and doing bystander intervention trainings to prevent harassment. And hopefully with this upcoming year, we're going to branch out more and start doing those sort of trainings and awareness campaigns within the restaurant industry and hopefully the hospitality industry, because we know that a lot of folks come here just to work, and a lot of times, like I said earlier, their housing is tied in with their employment, and so that can increase that risk of abuse and exploitation. And we do have a great relationship with local law enforcement, especially within that sexual assault response team. So that team includes the prosecutor's office, the sheriff's office, Moab City Police, the Victims Assistance Unit, and the hospital. And so we meet every month to discuss sexual assault victim needs in the community, even, all the way from de-identified, case review, all the way to prevention. So we meet every single month, and we're developing our protocols and ways that we can collaborate best with each other to make sure that victims in the community really have access to that like safe trauma informed services.